Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to do the same.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. 866-594-4150. We have things to talk to you about, but we've got calls coming in already from all over the nation. Places you've been.
I've been in Utah just recently.
Yes. That we'll see about talking about that coming up. But right now, let's get right to the calls because they're waiting. We don't want to. They're way more important than you.
I'm boring compared to our callers.
Let's go to Utah right now and talk to Dave. You're on the Under the Hood Show, Dave. What can we do for you?
Well, so I called about a month ago trying to help my son with his 2001 Chevy truck. And I'd put on the remote knock sensor kit, and I have to apologize because when Chris asked me if the device was good, I acted like Eeyore, and I said, I guess. So I'm sorry for that, but I bought a Dorman kit, put it back on, and it was worse than ever. So I just took it to a place. First time in like 13 years I've taken the vehicle anywhere, and I found out what the problem was. It was the amateur working on it that was the problem. And
what'd you do?
Well, you know what? We've got a case of amateuritis working on something that's sitting at the counter with me right now. It looks like, but we'll be curious to know.
Well, so talking to you guys. I was thinking maybe it was the computer because it just didn't make sense to me, which explains that I'm an amateur. The guy I took it to, he said two things. The boot for the fuel pressure regulator had a crack in it, but I think what it really was on the EGR valve, there's that metal tube that goes into the intake manifold. And I don't know if it got cracked or we just didn't get it sealed right, but he sent me a video. There was a ton of smoke pouring out of that thing. He did a smoke test, and he fixed that in the boot. Check engine lights off. No more knock codes. So thanks for your help, and I'm sorry I was Eeyore. I won't do it again.
You're Eeyore, I'm Tigger, so I just...
That EGR tube in those old LS style engines is very hard to get lined up into that intake. It's a metal tube that goes in about a half inch around, and then it's got a big metal flange on it. It's got an O-ring that's ginormous, and it all has to line up perfectly to seal. If it's not, it will have a vacuum leak and run very poorly.
And that would make it get the knock sensor code.
Well, it had knock codes because it was probably getting a lean miss and causing that to show up as a code. That's why we've told people before on this show, don't put a part on only based on the code. Oh, I've got an oxygen sensor code. Let's replace it. Well, I've put 4 on and they still go bad. So you're returning all those good parts back to the shop that you bought them from the auto parts store. They're sending them back to the manufacturer. The manufacturer's losing money on those parts, and it's not their fault, when really, maybe it was the mass airflow sensor causing the code, or low fuel pressure causing the code. How did you check that sensor to find out? It's, a lot of times the code will fix the problem.
Right.
But when you go to some of these auto parts store that say, we have a foolproof scanner, it will tell you what's wrong. It's there to make them money. They'll scan it for you and say these are the most likely 90% that this is the cause, and they'll sell you that part. So in your case, they would have said likely it's a knock sensor. Let's replace them, which you did.
And that wasn't it?
No.
Dave, are you all set now? You ready to go?
Yeah, and Russ told me last time that everyone thinks that changing that exhaust or the intake manifold is a pain in the neck. Well, I didn't pull off that relocation kit because that's 10 times harder than changing that intake manifold. Where they want you to mount it in the way of the frame and everything, it was a nightmare. So I just left it on.
Yeah, just leave it. It'll confuse somebody down the road. Maybe they'll see it down there and they'll try to diagnose a problem later.
We're talking about a 25-year-old vehicle. Maybe it won't be noticed. I mean, how far out are we going to go with this thing?
Well, sometimes you notice things on 60-year-old vehicles too.
That's true. Yeah. Dave, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Pennsylvania and talk to Rodney. Rodney, you're on the End of the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
Well, good morning, guys. You got a great show.
Thanks.
I called you a couple weeks ago on my 2017 Ford Explorer about getting a transmission flush for fluid exchange. And you guys, when I told you what the dealer price, you guys said, well, check out a transmission shop, what their opinion is and what they go. Well, anyway, transmission shop said fluid exchange only. They wouldn't do a flush because they're scared of it. You know, it's got like 82,000 miles on it. But the dealer, they don't care. You're going to give me like $1,100 and we'll do anything you want.
Yeah.
And so what was just for our listeners, what was the quote at the transmission shop for the fluid exchange then?
Between 4 and 5.
Okay. Still seems like, but the fluid's expensive. We identified that.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yes. I know. I understand that. But I'm like, well, what do I do? I mean, you know, should I just go with the fluid exchange and is it cheaper? I mean, I know I'm leaving a lot of fluid in the torque converter and all that. So, I mean, I mean, does it worth the gamble? I mean, I don't know what to do here.
80,000 miles. That's so low. I can't imagine the fluid's burnt at 80,000 if it's never towed.
Yeah, you're not having, if I remember right, you're not having transmission problems. You're just trying to do good preventative maintenance, correct?
Yes, that's all I'm doing. Yep.
The 17 Explorer transmission is one that we do not replace often. We have put, I think it's been 2 that we've put in. They were both on 3.5 non-turbo Explorers. So the engines are about bulletproof for that one. It's much better than the turbos for longevity. If you're going to buy an SUV like that, I would go with a no-turbo straight 3.5 because I've had them come in with 400,000 miles. They're tough. The water pump is the biggest thing you got to worry about in that because it's internal. The transmissions, though, the ones we replaced they were close to 250,000 miles. So I don't know what Shannon's selling on those, but that transmission is pretty strong. So if you've got one that the fluid still looks good, meaning it's not black and burnt, it's just tannish red, yeah, you could exchange the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I would just do the fluid exchange and not do the flush at that point if you don't have, because you're going to get,
because he's on it. I mean,
you're going to get your chemical package updated in that fluid that's going to mix in with that existing fluid. You're not a completely dirty bathwater because your fluid's in good shape now, and it'll save you that chunk of money too. Yeah. I mean, you're doing some good preventative maintenance. You're spending $400 or $500. I think we identified the transmission, and the last time we talked to you, said if the transmission is $3,000 and you're spending $1,100 to flush it,
right?
That's hard math for me.
Rodney, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the End of the Hood Show.
Look, up in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No. And who cares? We're down here, driving cars. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the End of the Hood Show. All right, now we got a second here. Let's talk about where you've been and where you've been. You've been places.
Well, I did, but I didn't really get to see much.
No, you did not.
Because we were moving, and I haven't taken, a road trip like this since I brought our other daughter, Madison, to the same college at Grand Canyon University down in Phoenix. But our son, Riley, got married Saturday night a couple weeks ago, and I know Russ was there. We had a great time. It was quite a party. I'm still recovering from...
Any rattlesnakes?
No rattlesnakes. Okay. Nobody had to shiv a rattlesnake or anything. Okay. It was all fine. But we got partied all night Saturday night and celebrated, and then Sunday afternoon we took off in a Tesla that I got for our daughter. We knew that it would work good for her down in the Phoenix area. There's so many of them down there, and the charging is ample, and so we did a cross country road trip in a Tesla Model Y, and it was so fully loaded with like stuff. Just we had enough room for us to get in there, and the frunk was full, the trunk was full. I mean, we did the 2 layers of the back end were full, and I still had to ship some stuff, but we got everything down there. But no, it was quite a journey, and I'd say overall, it was very, very good.
Okay.
I think I said this before, but the hardest part of the trip, as far as feeling uncomfortable, was going across South Dakota, the stop at Al's Oasis, which I've been to enough times that I don't need to be at Al's Oasis for 45 minutes.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
If it was my first time at Al's Oasis, I could probably burn 45 minutes, but I wasn't doing lunch or anything. We were just on the move. But one thing that a lot of people have asked me about that I didn't understand completely, and so I'm sure that others don't either. When you put into the navigation on the screen, and there's people that have these right now and say, duh, you just look this up online. Yeah. But you put your destination in, and it charts out the course for you, and in conjunction with where the charging stations are. And the thing that I've had a lot of people say, well, what do you got to charge that long for? Well, you don't, because it says, all right, you're going to stop in Moab, Utah, and you only need to charge for 19 minutes to get to the next stop in Kente, Arizona. And so it unless you're going to plan on deviating off the course, which a lot of people do, you just it charts it for, okay, go here for 9 minutes, go here for 12 minutes.
Do you trust that?
Yep.
Okay.
By the end of the trip, I trusted it completely.
Okay. All right. Did you at the start?
No.
Right. Okay.
But I knew why.
Even when you say it, I don't.
But I knew why I didn't trust it.
Right.
But the reason I didn't trust it is because I took it off of full self-driving or cruise control, and I was pushing.
Okay. Yeah.
And when I was pushing, just leave it at that.
Yeah.
In the open country, with the weight we had on there, it was definitely, the algorithms were not accurate, where they were dropping faster.
Yep.
So like where it said I was going to get to wall with 11% charge, because it'll say what your arrival energy is going to be, I got to wall with 6%, and I wasn't worried about it by then because I knew where I was going right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows you how many of the charging stations are available.
Okay.
So if there's 24 of them at a place, and it'll say there's 18 available. So you can kind of gauge. If it was just one available, you'd be a little more nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And you get some closer to Phoenix, you see that sometimes there'll just be a couple available, and nobody, including myself, backs up very well. And they're never quite in the right spot. And there's always a wasted one, it seems like.
Right. Yeah.
But it was, we trusted it right away. And the charging spots were a little inconvenient sometimes. I'm trying to remember the one where we were at. It's all a blur right now, but
in the ghetto behind the liquor store.
No, there was one behind a liquor store, but that was in Flagstaff. But it was by a really nice Circle K type gas station. But the charging station was a little bit in the sketch area. Yeah. But there was one that was by I would say a local motel. It must have been the only place in town where they could make a deal to get it put in. I'm guessing they have to do lease agreements or something. And we had to walk a couple blocks just to get to a Subway,
Mm-hmm.
Because use a bathroom and get some cookies, and, you got to buy something. It seems
Is that the one where the closest restaurant was way up on the hill?
Yeah, no, that was Moab, I think.
Okay.
That was Moab. But it was really, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of driving, but the full self-driving option, we have it for 3 months, and then we got to decide whether we're going to pay for it monthly or buy it. But they tempt you with it. They're the drug dealers. They're just like, here, try this, and you do get used to it really quick. And I know I had a couple videos I did, but my wife, if she was sitting here right now, I wouldn't get mad at her for saying it, but she quickly acclimated that the full self-driving was a better driver than me. She can get pretty tense when I drive because I'm a little spastic. Looking all over, and it's just hard for me to stay focused. And the car itself it made her calm.
Okay.
the self-driving made her calm, but it didn't take us very long to get to that point. We drove through Denver. We went to a Buc-ee's. I sent you guys a video of that. I've never been to a Buc-ee's before.
How'd you like that experience?
Russ, Buc-ee's was crazy.
It is crazy.
Fresh biscuit on the board.
Sauce on the board.
Yeah, no, it was excellent, but just a big, huge, amazing complex.
It really is something.
It is, and you walk out of there with things you don't need.
Yeah,
but we went from that Buc-ee's. That was a charging station there. Apparently, they've made a deal and they've got charging stations there. And I hit FSD, full self drive, at the Buc-ee's outside of Denver in Fort Collins, I think it was, or wherever in between there on the main stretch. I have to think about where I was, but I didn't touch the steering wheel until after we were coming out of the mountains for my next charging station.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that was going through the area of Breckenridge, Vale, all through there. And there was road construction with lane shifts. I had the setting for full self-driving on hurry. Imagine that. You have chill, standard, and hurry. I had it on hurry, and then you do a percentage of blend of traffic you want to have. And then you have a little thumb control you can use to go up and down for speed also on the steering wheel. And the car, I should say something bad about it, but I couldn't find a lot of bad yet. The car was way more aggressive than I ever thought it would be. I imagined a full self-driving car would get in the first lane of traffic, hang out, and then make its exit because it'd be close. But no, it was passing. It was pulling out.
So it calmed your wife and it satisfied you?
Just about.
Wow. That's crazy.
But
because I've driven with you.
There was a top end limit of 85, which was hard in some places when it was wide open. But it was very, very, very interesting. And it just opened my eyes to the capability of what technology has evolved to. When my wife and I got in the car, I go, did you ever think when we were getting out of high school that we would drive across the country in an electric vehicle?
It drove itself.
It drove itself. Yeah. And the answer was a hard no.
Yeah.
A hard no. And so it was a great experience. And so when you get into the big city traffic, 7 lanes in Phoenix, it's no problem. I trusted it way better than me trying to look at my directions. And
I remember was it the Barbara Walters interview with Musk years ago, and they were just talking about this technology, and she says, "Well, are you sure you can do this kind of stuff? It's it seems like it's pretty high up." And he said, "I have a spaceship." And then she said, "Well, and about this, what do you think?" He says, "I have more than one spaceship." And it's a whole different thing now. But this is just one company. There's going to be a lot of them doing this.
And GM's got their new Super Cruise setup that's supposed to be really great. And
the range numbers are going up on these cars. It's very realistic that within 2 to 3 years we'll start seeing a lot of electrics with 500 to 600 mile standard ranges out of them.
Here's the thing for me. I still
love my gas.
A bit of a final analysis. I said this. I think this technology was amazing, and I liked it. That doesn't mean I hate my V8 rumbling Trans Am and my pickup. It's okay to like both, and appreciate the technology. I will say though, it tried to kill us 3 times on the full self-driving,
and it may have if you weren't there watching,
right?
Like you're supposed to do.
In Colorado, down the main drag, it was pulling out to overtake a car that was going slower, and it pulled out into a lane that was ending in 500 feet. And I didn't give the car a chance to see what it would have done.
Okay.
But for the way the car was acting, it was taking me right into a guardrail. And so I grabbed a hold of it and slowed down and rode back in behind the other car.
I would not have thought that was your solution.
It's fast. I could have zoomed ahead, but the car was putting me in a very uncomfortable. It did that twice. Once on an inside lane and once on an outside lane. And with our daughter driving it, it took her through a 4-way stop that somebody else hadn't done the right protocol.
Right.
And so the car was going.
Oh, yeah. That's a good, huh?
And so she took control and stopped. The car probably would have stopped on its own, I'm thinking, and you often have to pay attention. You get your phone out, it knows.
Yeah.
You got to be sneaky.
Eyes up.
No, it knows, and the screen starts flashing blue, and it says grab the wheel, apply torque, and if you don't grab the wheel, then it'll kick you off and give you a strike. And I went through that trip without any strikes.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yeah, I grew up.
866-594-4150. We're going to go to North Carolina when we come back on the Under the Hood Show.
Shannon and Russ have spent their whole lives with their heads under the hood, and that's the way they like it. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
866-594-4150. Don't forget, you can watch the show on our YouTube channel, and if you subscribe there and join the Hoodie Fan Club at UnderTheHoodShow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Kelsey Carruthers, congratulations to everybody here under the hood and our friends over at Berkeley One Classics celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage. And Universal Technical Institute. Find them at uti.edu. That's the place you're going to want to go if you want professional automotive training. uti.edu.
866-594-4150. Let's go to North Carolina and talk to Scott. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Scott, what can we do for you?
Hello, Under the Hood folks.
Hello.
You guys are a breath of fresh air.
All right.
I'm an old click and clack guy from the NPR. I've been looking for somewhere else to go, and I found you guys just recently, and I'm about halfway through your podcast and just subscribe to YouTube, so this is awesome.
We appreciate
thank
that.
you.
Thanks.
I know one of my daughter's roommates was from Louisville. I got to make sure I say it right quickly.
Louisville.
And he was a principal down there. So Chad, if you're listening, he said he was going to be a new hoodie because he was a diehard, loved Click and Clack. And I said, you got to check us out. And he goes, really? You do a show like that? I said, yeah, Russ and I and Chris. So maybe Chad's listening too. He'd be a new hoodie.
There you go.
One of my daughter's roommates down at college. Not the dad.
Right.
His daughter.
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
We've got a bunch of project cars. My son is 16, myself, and unfortunately my wife's 2002 Chevy Suburban. We were rolling up on 400,000 miles on it. We even sent away and got stickers and stuff from Chevrolet where actually recognizes high mileage vehicles. So we took it in for a transmission line had went on it, had it replaced, and when we picked it up, it hasn't run the same since. I believe it's sucked a valve down. So my question is it worth pulling this thing apart and trying to fix it to get it back on the road, put another motor in it? Because, like I explained to her, everything else has 400,000 miles on it. The drivetrain, the transmission, the interior isn't that bad.
I have a couple questions that are not related to this at all, but can I go back to this sticker? Where did you get this?
Yeah. Chevrolet has a Legends, I believe, or Chevrolet Legends or trucks that you can write Chevrolet, and all they want you to do is document the mileage and take some pictures of your vehicle, and they'll actually send you gear. We've got stickers. We've got an umbrella, a nice, well-made umbrella. I believe a belt buckle that documents your high-mileage Chevrolet vehicle.
And you did that just recently?
The cars, the Suburban's been sitting for probably 6 months, so it's probably been almost a year since we've had it.
But within the last year.
Rolling up on 4. Yep.
I've never heard of that. That caught
great.
my attention more than anything else you were talking about.
Not the project cars either.
Well, we can talk about that later, but I was just I was intrigued by that. And so they brought it in to put a transmission line on it because a line broke, and then you got a valve problem?
I didn't think it was just coincidence because it had sat for a couple weeks, and I was going to do it myself. I ran out of time, so I just popped it up to the local guy that we use, and then went and picked it up, and it just didn't seem to run well after that. But again, 400,000 miles, I'm like, it was maybe bound to happen, but I think I've heard Russ talk about the tick that they always have. That's always had it. It's just been a trooper. It's part of the family, but now it may be time to move on, but the wife says no.
Do you know for sure that it dropped a valve, or could it just be a valve spring?
It sounds, it's got a sucking sound when it's running. So it will move under its power, but it's just underpowered and it's just horrible. So, and I've heard you can get the motors pretty cheap and just swap them out. Or my son and I can do it as a project, but even so, is it worth it because of, the 400,000 miles on everything else, shocks and transmission and rear end. And
so they fixed it, and then it had this problem right after?
Yeah, basically.
Like when you picked it up?
Yes, within a day. Within a day, it started to make
within a day.
Noises.
I would, if it's got a sucking sound, I would look very close and see if it's got a broken vacuum line somewhere, because that will make it run horrible. It'll misfire, it'll shake, it'll idle poorly. That could all do that because it shouldn't have a sucking sound. Could have a knocking sound or a clicking sound, tapping sound, but not a sucking sound. Something.
Yes, maybe I'm not describing it well enough, but we went through it pretty well ourselves. But and then everybody's do the leak down test or do everything else. I don't.
Okay. Well,
if I'm just looking for validation.
If it's shot,
save it or not,
and it's got that many miles on it, I wouldn't try fixing this engine. LS engines are cheap.
That's what he said earlier.
This old, I mean, you look around, you're going to pick one up for probably around $1,000 with 200,000 miles. Why not?
Or less.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
They last so long. Get one, clean it up, put it in there with new spark plugs.
New valve cover.
Yeah, that's a new driver's side valve cover. You will need, that's very important. Our partner Dorman Products makes an updated driver's side valve cover.
We got a valve cover from Dorman. Yep, and we put new spark. What do you call them?
Coils.
Coil packs.
Coils. Yep, got all new coil packs for them. The first ones are wrong, but second one's wrong. All plugs, all new wires, and then the Dorman product for the valve covers. Thought maybe
save it all, put it on your new engine. Put it on the replacement, and then you should be good, because there's no that vehicle, if it looks good, the things that wear are the transmission, the engine, front wheel bearings. The rear ends will last a very long time if they haven't been over towed. So put them on, and that thing will keep going. I don't know why you couldn't then you can write Chevy and tell them you got 1 million miles on it if your wife wants to keep it.
Yeah, I think I'd be cheating if I told them, because swapping the engine out, it's like, oh, well, it doesn't really have 400,000 on it anymore, but yeah.
Well, that's true, but I've got an 04 that's got 300 and some thousand on it now, and it's still running pretty good.
It's a Tahoe.
It's time to write the Chevrolet.
Yeah.
That's a question we get asked a lot, and oftentimes it comes down to how much the vehicle is used, condition of the vehicle, and when we talk about the condition of the vehicle, the structural condition of the vehicle. Does it look okay? Is it safe? Is the frame not rusty? Is the suspension not rusty? And if it's clean, and you go out and buy if you need that type of vehicle in your fleet, and you go out to buy another one, you're going to spend so much money and still not know what you're going to have unless you buy a new one.
And your question was good too. There's that doesn't always get asked. Do you want to drive it for another? Does your wife want to drive it for another 5 years, or is she ready to?
Yeah, is it time?
So she's happy.
Yeah, that's another way to say it. Sure. Yeah. Does that help you out there, Scott?
It did, and we just got our '87 Plymouth Horizon running and back on the road. So I think it's a good trade-off.
Oh, is that
nice?
Is it? Is it a?
Well,
is it a Berkeley Classic, guys?
Well,
it could be if it's really nice. If it's really nice, it could be. I mean, it's still considered.
Let's pretend it's perfect.
Yeah.
87 Horizon.
Well, Russ,
we have never done our 87 Horizon.
There are so few on the road. If it's got decent paint on it and it's not rusty, then yeah, it's a classic.
All right.
You just don't see them.
I know what it is.
What is it?
It's maroon. What do you think, Chris?
I think it's going to be that kind of soft yellow, like a gold yellow that is turned.
Oh, that's what I was thinking too.
Faded yellow.
It's brown.
Brown. All right, Scott, what color is the Plymouth Horizon?
It is the most common Plymouth Horizon color, blue.
Okay.
That
Now-
little off Carolina blue sky.
Do you know for a fact that was the most common color
Maybe
of
in
Horizon?
his area. In his area.
Yep. No. In my area, there is another one in our area. It's actually maroon. So I guess we can give it to
That's
one of you
the
guys.
thing,
Whoever
Shannon.
gets maroon.
In the rust, less rust southern states, you are going to see a lot of cars like that still around. No, most people are getting newer cars, yes, like 11, 12, 13 years old, but you will see people that are driving that old stuff, like maybe a 74 Honda. It's still, they're like, hey, you know what? I found it. It was cheap in the trees.
I talked about the beautiful 82 Prelude I saw down in Florida.
Yeah.
Prelude's coming back.
Yeah, it is. I saw one too. I saw a red.
Is it a
old
4-door
one.
SUV?
No,
Not
it's
a new one.
It's a 2-door.
I saw an old one the other day where we are, and I was like, oh, look at that. It didn't look great, but it was out there.
They based it off the Civic chassis.
Does that help you out there, Scott? Are you all good to go?
I'm good to go. You guys good?
I think we're good. Thanks very much for the
thanks
call.
for finding our show, and we're glad you subscribed and did all that stuff. Tell your friends.
What is it? If that engine's $1,000, what is it if I want you to put it in? I mean, or I have to have it put in?
More.
Yeah, but I mean, how much is it to have an engine put in? If the engine's
more
low cost, $1,000 is pretty.
Yeah, it just depends on what you need, because when you tell a person, let's say you tell a person it's $3,000 to put an engine in, just at any shop, and they go, "Oh my gosh, that is so much labor. What is your labor rate?" No, I said it's $3,000 to put it in. Well, right, $3,000 is no, it's not labor. I told you a total cost. You have fluids, you have filters, you have seals, you have gaskets, you have a water pump, you have tune-up items like spark plugs, coil boots, a thermostat. You might have an EGR valve. You might have knock sensors. You might have a radiator because the oil cooler's in the radiator, and oil cooler lines. Well, how much is the labor? $10. The rest of it's parts. You know, are you seeing what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The labor's not $10, but no,
It
is not. This is the cost to put it in. Now let's add the engine in there and get a total number. And it's like, all right, maybe it's $3,300. Oh, well, that doesn't sound bad. Installed with an engine and everything I need and a warranty. That's the big picture. You've got to get the big picture. You're going to cheat yourself if you just look at labor, because I've had people say, oh, well, this dealer told me the labor was only this much.
Right.
But then they got hit with all those extra parts at a crazy price.
Chevy Truck Legends is an exclusive community where Chevy truck owners share stories, get news, and celebrate their passion for the Chevy truck lifestyle. Plus, members get access to special perks like discounts, a private Facebook group, and more. You go to Chevrolet.com. It's a Chevrolet deal.
The club.
There you go.
Chevrolet.
I got you all taken care of there.
I never knew about it.
There you go. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. 866-594-4150.
Join the Motor Medics on Facebook. Facebook.com/Under the Hood Show. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Iowa and talk to Dennis. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Dennis, what can we do for you?
Well, good morning. Actually, it's Texas, Iowa. I'm a transplant from Iowa. So
okay.
I talked to Russ a couple weeks ago off the air. I had a customer come in with a flywheel off of a Corvette. And so there was some teeth damage about a third of the way around, which indicated that the flywheel was warped. So I called up Russ and asked him what to do. He said, don't do anything, just they need a new flywheel, which on that particular model was more than what he wanted to spend. So when he came to pick up the flywheel, with puppy dog eyes, he begged me to at least try. So since I have a machine shop and precision measuring instruments, I proceeded a straightening process for that flywheel, and I dialed it in, and I got it really close. It wasn't perfect, but I'm thinking the indicator was somewhere between 5 and 10 thousandths total indicator reading around the periphery of that flywheel. And so he come and picked it up and he put it in, and I hopefully will never hear from him again. But also, Russ sent me a hoodie, and I wanted to thank him for that hoodie, and to show how appreciative of that, I was just going to let y'all know that today our heat index down here is 105. So,
and we were like 45 this
Yeah.
morning. We were getting some
Got way
chilly
down
air the
there.
last few days.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I keep close tabs. I listen to KELO pretty much every day, at least the morning show, and sometimes throughout the afternoon. And so I keep close tabs on the area yet. So that's
Cool.
my home ground. That's where my roots are at. So yeah, Russ and I had a good conversation. We kind of swapped places in a way. So
Yeah, you're down there, and I'm up here for the time. But
I guess I have a question. I wasn't involved in this conversation, but was that an automatic transmission flywheel that you guys put that much work into, or was it a straight stick?
it's a clutch. It's a manual.
The customer,
Because we talked about buying a
do
whole
not
clutch
know.
Yeah. I say no. That just makes, because otherwise I'd say I wouldn't even know why somebody would try to put the work into an automatic flywheel, because they just don't cost that much.
kit. Yeah, he was getting that chatter.
Yeah.
That's a Corvette problem.
Yeah.
But
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah. Dennis, thanks very much for the call. That's cool. That's that to not be able to get it and then have someone try something and hopefully it works. That's always a good feeling.
I don't do a lot of things anymore so I'm always amazed and impressed with people that are the true craftsmen that have got the presses and the guys that can straighten things.
See, and so what he just said is very important to remember. If the shop says we'll try, but they weren't asked to, they said, well, I'm not really sure what it is, I'll try this, then it's your fault. You guys did a horrible job.
Yeah.
But when the customer comes in and says, I've got to buy a new one, there's no alternative. No, not really. Well, would you try? Then they're saying, if you try and it doesn't work, you're off the hook. So then a shop may try it for you because you've already told them you're not expecting it to work, but you're hoping it might.
With you, I've said, not a flywheel, but I've had you zip tie things and tape things instead of fixing them appropriately.
Right. And it's like, well,
I appreciate
you asked me to,
Yeah.
I'll do it. But I rarely say, well, why don't we just try this?
Yes, exactly.
I know, because then I've told you to give me money for something that I think won't work.
Right. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Carter in Rapid City. Carter, you're on the End of the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
How's it going, guys?
Good. What's up, Carter?
Not too much. I'm working on this 99 Dodge Ram 2500, 5.9 Cummins in it. I am on my third Hydroboost pump in about the last 3 or 4 months, and it keeps taking out the driver's side caliper with it. I'm kind of just curious. I put a new Hydroboost on it yesterday, and it hasn't tried to lock up since. But when it is locking up, if I pump that brake pedal, it'll release. Just kind of curious on where to go from here.
I'm wondering if you got a power steering pump issue.
And I replaced the vacuum pump and the power steering pump. Power steering pump twice.
The booster, you replaced the Hydroboost and the power steering pump?
Yep. So I did the Hydroboost. This will be the third one's on it now, and it's got 2 power steering pumps that I've gone through on it.
That seems like too many pumps.
Well, that Ram has had a lot of issues with steering boxes, and the steering boxes will often contaminate the rest of the system. The pump will start wearing. You'll have a leaky box, or it's got play in it, and you got metal in there, and it takes out the pump. The whole system ends up contaminated. And if you replace one component, it's not going to fix it.
Okay. I had one steering box that was bad. That was I'm not sure if it was the original, but this truck's got 350,000 miles on it. So I replaced that steering box. That steering box was good for about 2 months, and it didn't take any away. It didn't take any of the play away in the steering wheel. That box failed, so I put a new box in it, and now, like I said, we're on to our second Hydroboost pump. after the power steering pump and the box.
Now, it's not common for us to see repeat failures in those Hydroboosts, but when I see one come in that's got a steering issue because the gear has failed and there's metal contamination in the system and the pump's making noise, it gets the whole set. It gets a booster, it gets lines, it gets a pump and a gear, the steering gearbox, all of it, because I don't want it coming back.
So now have you guys heard of those rods in those Reman Hydroboost pumps being too long and causing issues?
Always. Every brake
because that's
booster.
the only thing I could think.
You have to verify when you take it off the first time and it's been working for 300,000 miles. There are code numbers on the side of the Hydrobooster, like ABC, PQL, whatever it is. There is a number. You need to replace the booster with that same code number because the rods are different lengths. If not, there's a procedure for determining what rod goes in there. Some of them will say, this is a no number booster. Look at your rod. If it's this length rod, you need to put this spacer in there. If it's this length rod, you put this one in there. Things like that. You've got to make sure it's correct. I have a 2015 Hydrobooster on my 96 truck. I had to cut the shaft on the inside of the vehicle off and change the length of it because the pedal would press it too far down, which would damage the booster. So at full travel, it doesn't go the whole way. I had to swap that out. I want to make sure it was the right length. Now, on the master cylinder side, I also had to change that rod to the correct. What I did is I compared them and I ground off a 1/4 inch of it and then rounded the end and polished it. But you make it work. Those things are very sensitive. With that much hydraulic pressure, you want to make sure that you're getting the right travel in there. So if you got the wrong rod, that in itself will damage the booster, and then a booster going into lockup by too much travel will blow out calipers. It's a lot of pressure.
So if Carter brought his truck to you right now, what do you replace?
I wouldn't work on it.
You wouldn't?
I would say, hey.
Come on, it's a Cummins. You'd have to.
Yeah. Because it's been done like that. My only fix would be, I can put a box out, I can put a pump,
everything,
and lines and a booster on it, so I know what's on it. I've put them on. I know what I bought. I can't work on it because I don't know what you've done.
Couldn't you replace everything?
Yes.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, you'd have to replace everything. I mean, otherwise, it'd be like bringing me a car I'd never seen before and cover up the badge on the fender and the identification number, so I can't tell, is this a Ford? Is this a Chevy? What is it? I can't order parts. I don't know what you got. Yeah, it makes it difficult.
350,000 miles, you can clearly tell it's a Dodge.
Yeah,
it's been running forever.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Are we still, Carter? Are we still Real South Dakota Outdoors?
Yep. I'm still posting all my YouTube videos up there, and it's been good. So
awesome. It took me about halfway through the call to put it together. Then all of a sudden I was like, and I used to have your little sticker sitting right here by my headphone control, but I think it finally got moved.
It's underneath.
But it was there for quite a while.
Carter, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. So that's his fix too. I mean, he's got to replace all the parts there.
Yeah, and maybe on the first time, if he potentially would have flushed it well, if he knew which component. There it is, Real South Dakota Outdoors. But if he would have known which one failed for sure, and then did a flush on it. But it sounds like he's on it with that. Did he get the right part, and did he get contamination?
Right.
866-594-4150. John is going to be next. John, as soon as we get back, we're going to talk to you. John's watching YouTube, and he's on the chat right now, and now he's going to call, and we'll talk to him coming up. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show. That's hour 1. Hour 2 is coming up. 866-594-4150.
You're listening to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics, Shannon Nordstrom and Russ the Super Tech Evans. Shannon is an ASE engine and parts specialist, and Russ is an ASE Master Certified Technician with extensive factory drivability training. The Under the Hood Show is heard weekly on this and other great radio stations.
With Russ Evans, this is Shannon Nordstrom, thanking you for tuning in to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show. Have a great day, and remember, PTLA.
The opinions heard on this program, based on the many years of experience of Russ and Shannon, are offered for entertainment value and as a guide to your repair needs. No guarantee to repair or cause is given or implied. Always check with your favorite certified technician and follow all safety procedures before attempting repair. The Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics is reproduced and distributed by Prairie House Productions. Have questions for the Motor Medics? Call our 24-hour toll-free number, 866-594-4150. All content of the Under the Hood Show is the property of Nordstrom's Incorporated. Copyright Nordstrom's Automotive and may be reproduced with our permission. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to do the same.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. Don't forget, you can watch the show on our YouTube channel, and if you miss an episode, you can get it wherever you get your podcasts. And actually, let's talk to John right now in Florida. He is watching on YouTube. John, what can we do for you?
Hey, how's it going? I got a 2012 F-150 with a no crank, no start. I have power. The battery's good. I swapped it with a known good one. And then my truck is leaking oil a little bit, so I went under and checked all the starter wires, took them apart, took them off, cleaned the bolts and put them back, and then swapped some relays and fuses around, and I was able to get it started a couple more times, and then it went back to having a no crank, no start.
It sounds like maybe you've got a starter failing. Did you test the starter with a voltmeter down there at the starter itself?
Yeah, so I have power to the main line over there, and then I have ground on the ground cable as well. So, and then I had my wife try turning it over while I was testing the signal wire, but I don't know if I don't think I was getting any volts there. I'm not sure if that's how that is. You know, you turn the wire and then you get voltage to that signal wire.
When the ignition is on, do you get any check engine lights or anything?
If you crank it for a few times and then you hold it, the check engine light will flash as like there's a fault.
I read that on. He posted that on YouTube.
Chris, your side's whoa! Look at Chris go.
Well, you got to find out. Yeah, that small wire should have power when you're cranking it, and you need to find out if it's in theft mode or not. You can do that with a scan tool. The scan tool, if you go to the theft security, it'll tell you that it's locking it out, that it's keeping it from cranking. If it says start aloud and it's not doing that, then you got to diagnose and find out what's going on. Those trucks don't have a lot of failures other than the starter itself, a battery, or a theft problem with not recognizing the key. Makes it even harder when you've got one with a push button start. Those are even more tricky to try to figure out what's going on. You push the button and nothing happens. But it's really hard to do anything without a scanner to read if it's a theft issue.
My thing was no, you're good. Go ahead.
I said we had a neighbor that had a Ford truck that they fought with this on a no crank, no start. It was the similar year. I remember him calling the show even. And I think his ended up being it was a cable issue. It was one of the cables had a short in it somewhere that would be intermittent, and I'm just trying to remember what that was. They fought with it for a long time. Real similar condition, what you're talking about.
What a bummer to be your neighbor and still having to call the show to talk to Russ.
Yeah, no, it was one of our farmer neighbors around here from the salvage yard.
Oh.
And they talked about bringing it into our friends at Midway and a couple other places. I just remember the call. I remember them talking about it. And I think what Russ is suggesting is what you're on the right track. You got to find out when it's not firing what is happening. And once you figure out what you're missing, if you don't have 12 volts at the exciter wire, well, you got to dig into why that is. If you don't have the scanner and you can't tell whether or not it's a security issue, you're going to beat your head against the wall a little bit.
Oh, that's a 12, but he's in Florida. But still, you'll want to look in the passenger side footwell, the kick panel down there, pull that off, and look at the wiring. If this thing has been driven on the beach, if it's been wet or near the coast where it can get salt water, you could have corrosion in that fuse box, which is also the body control module down there, and that will prevent it from starting. And I've seen a number of them that look beautiful, clean on the outside, and then I pull that carpet back, and the floor is white with corrosion, and I pull the box loose, and it's corroded in there. That will keep it from starting.
Yeah, it has never been on the beach, and that's one of the first things I did was check that. Took that kick panel off and check it, and then I checked the door jamb wires, and I checked the wires that connect to that are on the driver fender under the hood. I checked those, and then I was gonna take the starter off, and then that last hot bolt was giving me a really pretty good hard time, so I got frustrated. I just put everything back.
Oh yeah, that's that top one. Watch the YouTube videos and see how people do it. It's tricky. When we have to replace one of those, we don't like that.
You're right. He's on it. There's just one. He's got to get one more step.
I think so. And if you have that thing where it's not starting, and you can replicate it regularly, and it could just be that because you were moving wires around when you were working on it, and then it started again, that could confirm that it's something inside of a wire or whatever it might happen to be. They're tricky when they're like that, but you gotta test it or else you're going to be really going crazy.
John, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Robert. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Robert, what can we do for you?
I've got a 2013 Chrysler Town and Country van, and when you put on the turn signal to turn right, it blinks for about 6 to 9 times, and then it goes into light bulb burned out and blinking fast. But when you shut the fan off and turn it back on, it'll do the same thing again.
Well, I appreciate you using your turn signal. So many people don't.
But he's got a hyper one.
Right.
Yes.
It's sensing that there's a resistance issue in that circuit, and it's either the module that has failed causing that, or it really does have a resistance issue, which can be a bulb burnt out, the wrong bulb installed will also do that, or corrosion in any of the wiring for front or rear. We usually find it in the rear. A lot of times we find somebody's got a trailer light connector, and that's corroded, and it's changing the resistance just enough that it goes into the bulb failure mode and tells you that it's out. A lot of times, even if you remove the bulb completely and turn it on, it'll still blink normally for a few seconds before it starts flashing quickly. It doesn't do it immediately like you would think it would if it was old cars.
Have you checked from outside to make sure everything is blinking?
Yes, I have. I put on the 4-way flashers and I'd walk around it and everything would blink, and then after it goes for so many times, then the front right blinker bulb doesn't work anymore, and then it when you just turn it on to turn right, it'll flash quickly.
So the front right bulb is the one that's out, even with the turn signal, hazard, anything, that front right is out when it starts doing that?
Yeah.
But it's on before it starts doing that?
Yes.
Okay, if it works for a few seconds every time and then goes off, that's almost 100% that it's the module.
Okay.
That forward control module that runs that, it's common.
Robert, thanks very much for the call. How long could you go just hitting your right blinker again, then turning it off and back on.
You would do that forever, Chris.
I would, yeah.
It'd be blink,
It'd be
blink, blink off,
pretty
blink,
length
blink,
to it.
blink
Yeah.
off.
It would be a while.
Yeah.
Although I would go bulb right away because I don't know. You guys know this. I'm a master at changing headlight bulbs.
Dorman Products sells a lot of those modules
Okay.
that are pre-programmed, ready to go. I think this is one that may be covered in that. You can go to dormanproducts.com to find out and watch YouTube to see the video about those. But I believe that's one that's covered. They had such a failure in these that for a lot of years that they've made a lot of products to cover those.
Sometimes you can look up the vehicle and just do the drop-down list to see what parts they sell for that vehicle, and you kind of can learn what some of the common failure
Yeah, that
items
is
are.
a pretty cool thing with their menu.
Toyota Prius, I could switch it. I could make a business out of that. I would be on top of that for $10 a change. I could do it in 10 seconds. I've changed my share.
I don't know that you could make a huge income on that.
Standard. That's what I'm doing right now. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
With over 2,000 episodes and over 200 stations, Under the Hood has the knowledge to make your car feel good. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to California and talk to Joe. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Joe, what can we do for you?
Well, good morning. Yeah, I've got a 2016 Ram 1500 with the EcoDiesel, and it's been a great truck. Never have any problems with it. But every time I fill the DEF tank, it throws a code, and the code is P20EE, and it'll be on for 2 or 3 days, and then it'll go off and not come back on again until I fill the DEF tank again.
I've seen that a few times before, and most of our customers that had it rectified with a reprogramming of the software in the computer. That took care of it. When it saw that sudden change, it just messed up its algorithm and needed to be reflashed.
Okay.
It just didn't adjust well to change.
Yeah, that may take care of it, the flash. But I would consult with the dealer, and I'd tell them what it's doing, and ask them. Hopefully, you're going to talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about and knows what to look for, instead of just saying, "Bring it in, and we'll try to look at everything." That's a pretty common thing.
Would that be still under the emissions warranty? That's an interesting
10
one.
10 years?
No, because it's not affecting emissions.
Okay.
The reading of it is not affecting emissions.
I'd sure ask.
Right. A failed catalytic converter that has a code, that's putting out pollution. A failed particulate filter is putting out emissions. But a light that comes on for no emissions change is not considered a federal emissions thing.
Okay.
That's an electronics issue. It's not actually a failure of the part.
I'd still ask.
You can try.
Yeah. Does that help you out there, Joe?
It does. Thank you.
Thanks very much for the call. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Catherine in Texas. Catherine, you're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
Hi, yes. My husband gave me your number, and he listens to y'all. He loves y'all, and he suggested I call y'all and let y'all know what's going on with my car because I have taken it to 6 different places, and nobody's been able to figure it out. So the problem is it's whenever I am braking, it's got like it's trying to hold on to it, and it kind of jerks a little bit, and it's making a very strange noise. I got new shocks thinking that was it. I got new brakes thinking that was it. It's still there. And when I bought the car, it was there when I got it, but it continually just gets worse and worse. I've had it for about a year and a half now, and I'm telling you, it's a big mystery.
Okay, let's just back up the bus here a little bit. 04 Corolla, and so when you high speed braking, low speed braking, what do we got going on here?
Any braking. I baby the car, so I'm never really just stomping on my brakes or anything. But if I am going fast and then try to like say I have to a red light or a light turns red or yellow and I'm trying to like, oh, okay, it's making that kind of noise.
And are you feeling the noise?
Yes. It's kind of like a rubbing. Yes, it's a rubbing. So I first thought it was the brakes. We got the brakes redone completely, the drum, the brakes pads, everything, and it was still there. I took it back to the guy that did it, and he's like, well, I don't really know what to tell you. Then I took it to another place. I took it to the Toyota dealer, and they still couldn't figure it out.
They heard it, though, right?
Right. Yes, they heard it. They felt it. They were trying to, I feel like, throw parts at it to make it better, and that wasn't it. So that wasn't working for me either. So
do they know which corner of the vehicle it is, or is it all four?
It's in the back.
Okay. It is in the back. On one side or both sides?
Oh, wait, I think we lost her.
Okay.
Oh, there you are.
No, here I am, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
In the back of the car. Is it one side or both sides doing it?
Like that, it would
have both sides.
It would have got you some federal.
Oh, what's going on there?
A little radio competition.
Getting pulled over.
Yeah.
See, would that car be? That would be drum brakes or disc brakes on the back.
Drum in the rear, disc in the front, and
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Catherine, we'll talk for a little bit here, and we can't. There's a lot of noise coming from you, so we'll just.
If you can't get rid of that noise, we're gonna have to.
Right, we'll just talk for a minute.
Yeah.
It's drum brakes in the back.
I mean the dealer should know what's going on if they hear that. But if it's coming from the back and you've got drum brakes going on, I mean, you got parking brake and everything back there, you should be able to figure that out. But a lot of times with the drums, they will rub on the backing plates, but only when the car is on the ground and you're stopping. You put it in the air and you raise it and you can turn them, and there's no contact until it's on the ground and the wheel bearings flex a little bit, they move and they grind. It might be the backing plate. So what we do when we're looking for that is we pull the drum off and we look at the back and see if it's shiny. If it's shiny all the way around on both the drum and the backing plate, I'm going to take a little bit of flat black paint and spray on both of them, not on the pads, just on that surface. Put it back on and run it, take it back off and see if it wore off in a spot.
Yeah.
If it did, I know I've got to modify that plate a little bit. But brake noise is just Corolla, 04 Corolla. Yeah, they've had a few with some brake noise, but nothing that was not able to be fixed.
Right.
You know, it's just
unless there's a top isolator bad on the shock absorbers and they didn't replace that, and when the car rocks it.
But what she's describing sounds like a rotational noise. The
Yeah,
faster you go,
it's true.
you hit the brakes hard. And
she mentioned even grabbing, I thought she
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. And out of round brake drums.
Grabbing.
Yeah. Out of round brake drums will cause it to grab. Have they put not just, you said they put new brakes on it, but did they put both drums and shoes in the rear, replace the whole thing, or did they just put new shoes on it?
The whole thing, the drum, everything.
Did it fix it right away and then it came back again?
It seemed like it got a little bit better, but then it just got worse again. And as the time goes, like as I keep driving it, because I don't drive it a lot, like I said, just to work and back, but it seems like with time it just keeps getting worse and worse. And when it rains, I feel like it gets worse too, like it gets moisture in something.
Yeah, that'd do it. You know, and a lot of times so where did they put the brakes on at? Were they done at the dealership or just a repair shop somewhere?
A repair shop.
Okay. There's different types of brakes that can be used back there. A lot of times people get on the Toyota forums online or the Honda or Chevy, Dodge, whatever it is, and they'll look and see what people have had luck with. And a lot of times you'll see where they say, I've had horrible luck with all the brakes except for this one. And then somebody else will say, I've used that brand too, and they work great. It's just with the design of the factory brakes, certain ones will not work as well as others.
And we're assuming also the car has all the right size tires on it and rims. Nothing's been modified on that, correct?
I'm assuming so. Yes, sir. Everything that when I got the car, the guy was a one-time owner, and he's had it since he bought it in 2004, and he had all the receipts from everything he ever got done on the car. So I feel like he was a good car owner.
Yep.
So I feel like it was legit,
And nobody has,
but I
nobody's
haven't-
told you that this is unsafe or anything when they look at it. They don't see anything that makes them go, "Ooh, look at this," or anything like that.
No, every single person I've taken it to says your vehicle is safe, because that's a big concern of mine.
Sure.
Russ, could it have
And everybody's like,
could it have a wheel bearing starting to go bad that nobody's noticing, and it's letting the brakes shift around in there?
For sure.
A rear wheel bearing?
I got the wheel bearings looked at, and I would say the majority of people said they were good. I had one person tell me it was bad, but I felt like he might have been trying to take advantage. You know how that goes. Maybe
Yeah.
I need to go get that looked at again.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of anything that's back there that could be causing it to move and cause problems. This is a hard one. You've had it to 6 places, and we were hoping we could fix it over the air, but
a lot of discussion.
Good things to think about. I would go back to the first place to put the brakes on and just tell them to say, hey, can we just look at this a little bit closer? And if you can replicate the noise or the grab easily, if it happens, it'll replicate it every time. If you have an experienced tech, I would guess like Russ, an experienced tech that's done a lot of stuff, seen a lot of stuff, heard a lot of stuff, and they rode along, they would go, oh, I think I know what I'm going to look at, because they can just feel it.
Right. Catherine, good luck. That sounds, the fact that it's still safe, that's good, but man, it sounds like a
It sounds
pain.
irritating.
Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
866-594-4150. Don't forget, you can watch the show on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe there and join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Bob Withers. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Congratulations for everybody here under the hood and our friends over at Berkeley One Classics. They're celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage. And our friends over at Universal Technical Institute, uti.edu.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Jake. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Jake, what can we do for you?
Hey, so I got a 2008 F350, and it supposedly has a newer rebuilt engine in it. And the guy that had it before put a single turbo on it and bigger injectors. Well, we took out the bigger injectors and put 3-man factory injectors in it. But when you're going down the road, you can get on it, and it seems like it has pretty okay power, but when you let off, it just white smoke comes out the exhaust. Any ideas?
Well, you might have a fuel leak going on somewhere or a failure in one of those. A lot of times you put injectors in, they've got to be super clean when they go in. Everything has to be just right. You got to determine if you have a fuel leak or if you've got, a failed injector can be a leaky, leaky fuel there as well. Definitely sounds like you're over fueling it. You're dumping fuel down into it. A lot of fuel.
Yeah, before with the old injectors, it was kind of having a white hazy smoke at idle. And now with these 3-man injectors, it's only when you let off.
And
The
can you
single
smell
turbo
fuel?
seems really laggy.
Yeah.
Coming out the exhaust a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the white smoke is concerning when you.
Well, making
let
sure it's
off,
not
I don't know
antifreeze, coming out of there, because you would smell that.
No, we did a diesel test, a diesel exhaust gas test in the coolant reservoir, and I don't know how accurate them are, but
pretty close.
No signs of diesel exhaust gas in the coolant, so sort of ruled that out.
Has the truck ever had any other modifications done to the computer or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it has. It's all deleted. It's got a single turbo, and it's has a toe tune, kind of a mild tune on it. But
yeah, when you say single,
Easy Link,
it's just not a variable geometry turbo. It's just a fixed turbo.
yeah, well, it's not a dual compound.
Right.
Like they usually put the dual compound turbo.
You said this is a
the
6.0.
single slot.
You said this is a 6.0 or a 6.4?
4.
Okay.
I see that.
6.4.
It must be. Is it an 09?
8. End of 08.
08.
Okay, because I thought those were 09, 10.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
08, 10. Yep.
Yeah. That's going to be something you're going to have to get into a diesel shop and have them look at that closer to find out where you're losing it. But it sounds like it's overfueling.
And if that's got a tune in it, and and then plus they put a different turbo on there,
The tune could be part of it. I mean, you may have to go back to stock, because if you've got a tune for bigger injectors and you have stock injectors now, it can cause some issues.
But it sounds like his tuner was just more of a mild tuner, but there's just enough going on there.
We had Easy Link put it back to stock. We got an Easy Link auto agent.
Yeah.
Put it back to stock injectors, but it's still got that single turbo on it,
which is different than factory, that's for sure, because those things were that was the bridge between the next generation Power Stroke and the old 6.0. That was the bridge.
Well, the bi-turbos on there kept a little bit of airflow at the idle speed so that they didn't have that lag when you step on it. So if you're taking away boost and airflow, you're going to get a little more fuel there when you let off it. That's expected to be blowing air in there. So that could be doing it on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be something you can put up with. If it's normal, it might be something you can put up with. If your choice was to swap the turbos or have it tuned out of there for a single turbo.
Jake, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. A couple decisions to be made there.
Yeah.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Kentucky and talk to Dave. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Dave, what can we do for you?
Oh, thanks for taking my call. I've got an 2007 Honda Accord. It's got the 3.0. Regardless, it's got a lot of miles on it. And when I start it up and get ready to take off, sometimes I hear this popping noise, particularly if I start to turn the wheel a little bit. I suspect, from what I can gather, it's probably the drive shafts. Does that sound about right? The CV shaft?
If you're in a straight line and you step on the gas and you have a click, that's typically the inner joint on the CV shaft. If you have a noise when you turn it and accelerate, it's usually the outer joint. Yes, so it's either way, it's likely a CV shaft that's giving you all that noise issue.
And if it's got a lot of miles on it, you also want to check the motor mounts on it also to make sure things aren't shifting around. Just with the age, you get a motor.
Oh, yeah, right. I've had most of the motor mounts replaced since I've had the car.
Okay.
It seems like, that's a chronic thing. Getting back to the drive shafts, let me mention this. I like to stay as much as possible with OEM parts. When I try to get the OEM drive shafts, they're over $1,000 each.
And
then when I get on Rock Auto or some of these sites, they're like $150. But what I'm wanting to know, is there one brand that's not OEM that's going to be similar to the OEM? Or would you happen to know anything about that?
They're all good. I mean, they just don't have very many failures. That's a part that's really hard to screw up. I would not go with a factory part. There's so much money, and there's just no reason to go with that. I mean, they can be 5 times the cost of an aftermarket shaft is probably $130.
Well, he said $150 on Rock Auto.
Yeah. So depending on where you go, even a parts store, maybe $180, $190, maybe less. I mean, you don't just think. A lot of people will go to a place like Rock Auto thinking that they're the lowest price, or Amazon. They're not always the lowest price. Sometimes you can find a better quality part at less money at an auto parts store, at a big box brand name store. So check that.
How many miles do you have on the car?
Yes. I've got about 198,000.
And it's an 07? You could, just if you were,
yes, sir.
If you were adventurous, you could go on to car-part.com and see if anyone has that application in a car that got wrecked with low miles on it. Now that's getting old enough; it's going to be harder. But if you could find somebody that had a
and get an OEM,
get a 75,000 mile shaft that somebody had a car accident with, I'd look at the pictures to make sure it's an accident vehicle, and the VIN numbers are usually available on a lot of that stuff, so you can double check. But that's an option too. A lot of people will buy we do sell not a ton of recycled original equipment axle shafts, but we have cars we take apart today that have 10,000 miles on them. And that shaft might sit on the shelf for 5 years, and then the market starts catching up with it. And there's always kind of a recycling of those parts. So sometimes across the country, you can find somebody that's got one that died on the shelf, and they might sell it for $50 plus shipping, and it's got 42,000 miles on it.
And what I like about Car Dash Park too is it might be a place that's 30 miles away.
Yep.
It covers all of the country, and some of those.
But if you bring it up, though, and you look and you sort by miles and you see everything's got 150,000 miles on it, unless somebody's got a note in there that says OEM replacement, which they would probably never know,
right?
Then that option's probably not good for that situation.
Might as well just go.
Yeah.
Dave, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Kansas and talk to Heath. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Heath, what can we do for you?
I have a 2011 Equinox 4-cylinder, and I'm trying to figure out what's with the shifting on the low end. Like it misses its shift points or something. Say I'm going down the highway and I want to come to an intersection and I want to make a turn. Let off the foot feed, let it coast or whatever, brake, making a turn. And then if I get on the accelerator, it misses its shift point.
Yep.
I'm assuming I'm in, lower or second gear.
That's not good.
Finally decides to shift, but I noticed I can't remember it ever doing it when it's cold. It's always when it's like 80 between 80 and 100 degrees.
Yeah. A transmission shop can look at it and verify what it could be, but we do see this very often on those, and most of the time the transmission is failing and needs to be replaced. It's clutches that are wearing inside. The computer is changing the shift points and the shift pressures, trying to overcome that, and they would be able to see that on their scan tool to look at the clutches and see what the pressures are and see if it is starting to fail. They may tell you, though, on the bright side that, well, it looks like it's got a solenoid failing, some valves sticking. We may be able to flush it, clean it up, maybe work on the valve body and fix it.
And know that maybe it's
right.
It's gonna break, but you get another.
Yeah. So in the worst
chunk of
case,
time.
it's going to need a replacement transmission. In the best case, they may be able to fix it for $400 or $500 and get you going again.
And in the worst case, can you just keep? I mean, you can if it
you
has
can drive
to be
it until it
replaced,
fails.
Yeah.
If you're driving it around town, it will get a lot worse.
Yeah.
And you can make sure that the place you bring it to has that ability to hook a scanner to it and watch what's going on and be able to tell. You don't have any other check engine lights on, I don't believe.
No.
Yeah, so that's something that if you look at that, and they're going to be looking at the data, not a code, to see what's happening. Right. And they'll be able to determine that. And it'd be great if they said, oh, yeah, you got a speed sensor issue, and it doesn't know where it's at in gear, and it's just hunting. But they'll be able to tell those things, and you might have to spend $150 to do it, but it'd be well worth it.
Heath, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Three friends talking cars. You decide if they know what they're talking about. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. let's talk to Courtney. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Courtney, what can we do for you?
Hello, I have a question about my 2024 GMC Sierra. It's a 1-ton 3500. The radio is all black on it, and it won't respond. And there's also a humming sound, like a tune fork, that is coming from the dash, and that is going 24/7, even when the pickup is off.
Interesting.
It's toast.
For
sure. So a 24 1-ton has that. So you've got the new style, the wider radio in it.
Yeah, you got a big display.
Yep.
Yep.
And everything's out on it, right? You don't have radio, you don't have, backup camera. None of that is there on that screen.
Correct. It's just black.
Okay. If the whole thing is black, something's gone. It could be the human interface module is what they call it, because it's interfacing everything from there to the computer.
The screens we have only had problems with if from what we've seen on those so far, that's got broken in an accident.
Yeah, and you won't hear any noise.
Yeah,
that humming noise, something electronically is out. It's going to run the battery down eventually.
More
too.
than just a fuse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Most likely more than just a fuse.
You got a noise in the background, so something is hard fail on it. And it's if I'm guessing, I'm saying probably the human interface module. So you got a 24 truck. This is out of warranty, right?
Still in warranty.
Oh, it is. Well, then make them fix it. Make them fix it. I do run into a lot of people with this style truck that is out of warranty
because they put so many miles on it.
Right, and it's barely a year old.
We have a ton of parts.
Yeah, so I've got people calling me saying like my 6.2 liter engine's out and they won't cover it under the recall because it's got 112,000 miles or whatever, and they're like, ugh. So same with this radio. If the radio's out, I'd make them fix it, but more than likely they're going to tell you that I think it's going to be the human interface module, which is the module that transfers everything on that touch screen to the computer to make it operate.
Yeah.
And that's what runs the volume up and down. That's what, does all of that. The CarPlay, the Apple and Android and all that buttons right on there through that.
Did you say something about your HVAC system, your fan or anything?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That I think is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the humming noise is an indication that it's
stuck in a mode. 'Cause
Yeah.
they do have a challenge in these newer trucks where they got to reprogram the gateway module, and a friend of mine explained it to me because I got to get mine in. But when you first take off, I got a 22.5 Silverado, and when you take off your first start of the day, usually every time, the radio cuts in and out, and what it is they've got some conflict on the network, and it has to do with the automatic temp control.
Okay.
And when the automatic temp control fan starts ramping up or ramping down, it affects the radio, makes it shut down, and they got to do some reprogramming of the gateway module to make that problem go away. So there's things sometimes it can just be weird little hiccups, but this sounds like a little more than that.
These new trucks, they do all sorts of things. If you haven't driven a newer vehicle lately, like if your cell phone is on and you're using CarPlay and it's interfaced, when a call comes in and you start talking, it not only mutes the radio, but it lowers the blower speed enough so you can hear better, but not so much that it makes the car hotter. It will actually dial the temp down to a cooler position and lower the speed to try to keep it just as cool in there. But if it's already on max, it's only so much it can do. But there's a lot of electronic tie in there.
Courtney, thanks very much for the call. That reminds me, I was thinking about this the other day. I feel bad when we were kids, the car stereo thieves. How do you make a living these days?
They just take the whole car.
Is that just it?
Just jack it up and haul it away.
Remember going to the gas station, guy would have some speakers, and you'd be like, what kind of speakers? They didn't do that anymore.
There's nothing to grab.
Well, everything's changing. Let's talk to Pat. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Pat, what can we do for you?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I'm not a long-time listener, but I'm listening for a while when I can, and I appreciate all your guys' advice and knowledge and experience and everything. Anyway,
thanks.
My wife and I have a 2015 Subaru Outback that we purchased from the original owner about a year and a half ago. And we purchased it, and when I test drove it, I noticed the brake pedal was kind of soft. said, well, that's okay. That's not a problem. I can fix that. I've been wrenching on tinkering with cars for about 30 years, and there's not a whole lot that I haven't done on a car as far as repairs. And I put a master cylinder on it, no change. Okay, I'll dig a little deeper into this. So I started, jacked it up, pulled the wheels. Okay, it needs brakes. So it got new pads and rotors all the way around, ran into a bad caliper, replaced that. A little better. Then I was starting to get confused, like, okay, there's no leaks. I've bled this thing and bled this thing and bled this thing. I've got one of those keg-style pressure bleeders. You hook up to the master cylinder and you just crack the bleed screw open when it's under pressure and it forces everything through. Did that. Took it to a local GM dealership since we don't have a Subaru dealer nearby. And I had them bleed it by activating the ABS module, and hopefully maybe there's some air caught in there or something. That made it a little bit better, but still, of all the cars I've owned over my so many trips around the sun, the pedal just still felt soft. So I went the extra mile, unloaded the parts cannon at it, and replaced all the calipers, all the hoses.
Wow.
So now it's got new master cylinder, calipers, hoses, pads, rotors. Still doesn't feel right. It's better, but still doesn't feel right. Recently, in fact, just a week ago, and I've been fighting this for a year and a half now. Now, it's safe to drive. I took it out on a gravel road. I hammered the brakes, and the ABS kicked in, and it came to a stop. And the pedal never really did go quite to the floor, but it just felt really low. A lot of travel before it would do much. Just a few days ago, I noticed one of the parking brake actuator motors was not working. So I removed it and found brake fluid in it. So one of the new calipers I had was bad. So I replaced that. They warranted that. Replaced the actuator motor. It's a lot better now. So I think what was happening is the fluid was leaking past that stem that the actuator runs, and it was filling my actuator motor with brake fluid. So that's never helpful. But it's better now, but it's still softer than I feel it should be. What do I look at next?
Well, you said they had, at the dealership, they bled your brakes, but there's another test that you can do in there. When you replace those calipers with the electronic parking brake, you absolutely must use a scan tool and put them in. You hit the retract button, they retract, you remove them, put the new ones on, then you put them back in the normal mode, but you also do the parking brake self-test, self-learn mode. And what it does is it runs the caliper all the way in, so loose, away from the caliper, and then it runs them out all the way until they're pressed as hard as they possibly can up against the rotor, and the amperage load changes, and the module senses that and says, okay, we're tight, and then it knows how many turns to back them off so that it takes up all the slack back there. If that's not done, you'll have too much slack and your pedal will be softer. That's why when you put this new caliper on, that procedure wasn't done, but it was already a little closer than the old one was. So it was already closer. And that's anytime you have slack, it's like old drum brakes that you've obviously worked on, in your history.
Yep.
And those, the tighter they are, the higher the pedal is, to a point before they start dragging. But if you leave them a quarter inch or an eighth inch away from the drum, you're really gonna go a long way. It's amazing how little you have to move those drum brakes in order to get that pedal feel up higher. So I think that's what's happening on yours. They probably need an auto relearn done, which would be a simple procedure with a scanner.
Great. Well, I've got one of those on the way. I'll buy bidirectional scanner. My old Snap-on one just isn't cutting it anymore.
Your parts cannon was full.
Yeah.
It was. I failed to mention that when I bought the car, the master cylinder looked like it was already brand new.
Oh, wow. Have you just for fun jumped in another one to see what the pedal feels like?
I did. I went to a local GM dealership that had a slightly later model one on on hand for a used vehicle, a pre-owned, and yeah, it felt better.
Yeah, no, I've sometimes there's just certain vehicles that have a feel to them that's different than another vehicle, and I've encouraged people, go drive another one. They're like, oh yeah, mine's way different.
Pat, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. When I do that, Shannon, when I go to the and I go, hey, I see you have a 2015 Subaru. Do I have to pretend that I might buy it? Or do I go to them just out of the blue and say, hey, I have one of these. Can I drive this?
All depends on your personality and what you think you can do.
Okay. All right. I would full on have a whole story.
I would not. I would say, hey, you know what? I've got one of these. I love it. I need to drive this one and see if it's similar to mine because I'm having a problem. Do you mind?
See, now I would go in and I would, like, when I bring something back, say I buy the wrong size shoe. When I go back, I have a full backstory on why the shoe is perfect. They did nothing wrong.
My wife tells me, she goes, they don't need to know that much.
Yeah. That's because when I played some football in high school and I still have an old injury and
it's all about personality type.
When I was in the Merchant Marine and it's done. Okay. It's just back on my card. All right. That'll do it for this hour of the Under the Hood Show. Until next time, you can find us at underthehoodshow.com. Thanks for listening. All right, welcome to the after show. Let's talk to Rich. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Rich, what can we do for you?
Yeah, good morning. I have a 2008 Ford Ranger with 287,000 miles on it, and on occasion, and I've checked the fluids. I don't think that's what the problem is, but I've got this light on the dash, it's not light, but it's the engine. And then there's a red, like the engine, and there's a red light around it. What does that mean? It's on the dashboard.
So it's like an engine symbol?
You understand? Yeah, right. An engine symbol. But then it's got a red light around it.
A red circle?
Red circle, yeah. It just outlined around the engine with red.
That's just a check engine. A check engine light.
But red is unusual.
Has an engine on it. Anything that's an engine picture is a check engine light.
I'm just trying to remember that, though.
Is this separate from your... Now, when you turn the key on, does it have an amber check engine light as well?
No.
That's your check engine light then.
It was off. It was off, and then I filled gas and started down the road. It came back on, and right now it's off.
Yeah, there's a few cars that have a check engine light that's got a red outline around it like that. The amber is the universal symbol for the check engine light, but sometimes they'll put a red line around them. If you filled it with gas and it came on and now it's off, it probably is an issue with your evap canister. They don't usually last that long. We put a lot of evap canisters on. That is something that our partner at Standard Motor Products makes a lot of. And the reason they make so many of them is because so many of them fail. They fit so many cars. There's a wide range of them that are made, a lot of different makes and models, but it's very common. And what happens is when you fill that, and there's more than just the canister. You know, they make the canister and the vent valve, the purge valve on the engine. When you're filling with fuel, it'll be hard to fill and it'll kick off too soon. You can't put it on high speed to fill it and lock it. It keeps shutting off. Or when you fill it, it will overfill and not shut off and spill into the canister and damage the canister because the canister is already damaged, so it's becoming further loaded up with fuel and damaging itself.
And sometimes they're just life. It's just been hard and they're done. You know, that happens. But usually it's
only got so many miles.
Yeah, but usually it's because they've been overfilled on. That's what the most common thing. Or people that do a ton of gravel road driving can raise heck with the evaporative emission systems too. But it's not, if the vehicle runs good and is working good and the light's going off, let not your heart be troubled.
Mm-hmm.
That's always what I take. Does that help you out there, Rich? Oh, Rich is gone. We lost Rich.
Must have helped him.
He must have been like, fine, and hung right up. All right. Anything else going on? You drove across the country. Did you see cool stuff? I mean, just visually, you got.
I really wish that the route would have had us going through the mountains of Colorado in the daytime instead of the nighttime.
Well, it would have if you would have left earlier or later.
Boy, is that was you. I mean,
I know it was me, but I'm just saying, whatever circumstances, mostly mine.
Yeah,
I would
mostly.
I would have liked to have seen that in the daytime.
Okay, all right, I got you. It was. You seem mad at the route.
Well, okay. All fairness, I was not real eager to get up and get going Sunday morning.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Really?
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was, and we had to open presents at noon. And so I had a good excuse.
You wanted to just sleep in?
And I hurt. My legs hurt.
Oh, I wonder.
Doing a little dancing, were we?
We were in full gear.
Should have stayed up all night then.
Yeah, we had the pedal to the floor.
Were you competing with people a third of your age?
Yep.
You don't do the splits, do you?
No, but I did it by accident, I think.
Were you outperforming some of the people
I
a
don't
third
know.
of your age? I think so.
I've got an uncle who is famous for he used to break out the splits when he would dance. And so every 5 or 10 years, we get out there and somebody goes, "Hey, can you still do the splits?" And he still does. And I don't think I think that's going to be, he's going to ruin someone's wedding when
he breaks.
He's going to go down and that'll be it. Because it's something else.
I know. I'm not a good dancer, but I do a lot of knee and hip movements.
Okay.
And we were the old Animal House song, Shout. I wanted to see how low I could get, and I miscalculated the tension on the dress shoes, the tuxedo shoes, and the smoothness of the floor, and I
that was where
that's kind of extended myself a little extra.
Yeah.
Then I look over at my sister. She's on her back. She's lower than anybody. And everybody's like, "What's your sister doing on the ground?" I go, "Haven't you guys ever seen the movie?"
No kidding.
You know? And, it was
Yvette?
fun. Yeah, it was fun.
I tell you what, it was really a good time, and it's to have everybody fit right in. You know, whether you were 20 or 80, everybody was acting like they were all the same age.
All 20.
It was fun.
It was a good.
Yeah, Riley's got a great group of frat brothers that they know how to have a good time.
Yeah.
And so I kind of knew this was going to be a trouble spot. So
Was surprised how many of them listened to the radio show. At least they've heard of it and they knew it and they've listened a few times. There was a few that were diehards. One in particular that was like over the top, super diehard.
I had
knew.
One of Riley's friends, Ty, had at the wedding. He came to me and he was standing there. He goes, "You know how to get to the reception?" I said, "Well, yeah, it's Highway 34 outside of town, about 8 miles. Look for the Nordstrom sign on the side, and it's an old sign." And he goes, "No." He goes, "I need a ride." And he goes, "I got dropped off here at the church," and he goes, "I don't have a ride." And he had been at our house one time with Riley, so I kind of recognized him. And I was sitting there talking to Russ and Michelle at the same time. I go, "You guys got any room for your vehicle?" And then later that night, he did come up to me and tell me, he goes, "That was really cool to get to ride with Russ." He said, he goes, "Riley and I had watched the show together a few times, and he goes, I just always thought it was kind of fun." So that was a big deal to him that he got to ride with Russ.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've done it. It's pretty.
Well, it was good to have them with us too.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Make sure you hit subscribe and like and do all that stuff with the YouTube. We appreciate it very much. Thanks for watching.